Hello everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm Lamarr Townsend. I'm a psychic and energy channeler, a tarot reader, and an astrologer. And in this video, I want to talk about the 8 signs that you may be an empath. So if you feel like you're an empath, please stick around and we will talk about all of those great things. Follow me on my Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, Vimeo. I also have a podcast on Spotify, Apple, Anchor, Google, and more. Lamarr Townsend Tarot podcast. All right. And also, if you would be interested in a personal reading from me, definitely check out my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com. This is my website. So once you've reached this page, you know you're on the right page. This is my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com. All right, so you can look it up on your phone, you can look it up on your computer. All right, down here you can follow me on Instagram. Once you've reached my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com, you can go right to the store section of my website, and it will take you to the store section of my website where you can view all my products and services. I do all different types of readings, and offer all different types of services, as well as products. I do make jewelry. Currently have a charged clear quartz stainless steel necklace on sale. I also do birth chart readings, past life readings. I also do, of course, candles, spell work. I do tarot classes, dream interpretations. I have evil eye necklaces on sale currently as well. Over here on page 2 of the store section on my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com. I also do sell black soap, which is a really good soap for eczema, dry skin, acne. It's an all-natural soap. A lot of you ask me what I use on my skin, like what my skin routine is, and I use that soap on my website, the black soap. It's literally the only soap I use, and I just moisturize. That's really, it's really, really simple. So I recommend black soap all the way. So let's go ahead and get into the video about the 8 signs that you may be an empath. I hope it's not laggy. Hi, the Powerful Underdog Tarot. I've been having internet issues for God knows how long now. I don't know what's going on with OBS. They seem to constantly have issues. But okay, let's get into the 8 signs that you may be an empath. So an empath is basically someone who, let's talk about that first. An empath is basically someone who is very in tune with emotions, very in tune with emotional energy. Emotions are connected to feelings, but emotions are connected to energy. Emotions are literally energy. Emotions can be contagious. Emotions can, permeate not just from oneself, but into a whole room. Like if someone's angry, and they walk into a room and then suddenly the room feels dark, or it feels angry, or it feels heavy, that's literally emotion coming into the room and changing the atmosphere. Emotion is energy. So when you're an empath, you're easily able to read these energies of your own emotions, and of course other people's emotions, even animals. We'll get into that in a second. So let's get into it. The first sign that you are an empath is that you can read emotions or energy. All right. If you have the ability to read emotions, if you have the ability, give me a second, maybe if I take this down. If you have the ability to read emotions, or if you have the ability to read energy, then you are definitely an empath. You are definitely someone who is The Powerful Underdog Tarot says, I watch a teleprogram, and if someone is upset, I become upset out of nowhere. Exactly. That means you can read other people's emotions quite easily, and that means you're an empath. When you are an empath, you are someone who is very in tune to emotional energy. You're very in tune and sensitive to the energies of other people. So, for example, an empath will be someone who can be a homebody, because when it comes to being around a lot of people, of course you can read other people's emotions and energy, so it may be very overwhelming, being around a ton of people, because you're taking in so much energy. You're like literally an energetic sponge, an emotional sponge. So it's very important for empaths to be able to understand that and protect your energy. Not spend time around people who drain you, or who make you feel heavy, or who make you feel depressed. because that can happen when you're an empath. You can be, all happy, and happy go lucky, but then you're around someone who's, having a crappy life, and then suddenly you're like feeling crappy, and it's like, why do I feel crappy when earlier I was so happy? You took in that person's energy, so you need to be careful when it comes to that. So that's definitely a sign that you're an empath when can be in a large room of people or be one on one with a person, and feel their energy. They don't even have to necessarily say anything. You can just tell right away. The second sign that you're an empath is that you tend to react to situations emotionally rather than logically. Of course, excuse me. Of course, an empath's first instinct is to react in the form of their emotions. An empath lives life um, through their emotions. An empath feels things out, right? So, in that sense, your first instinct is not necessarily going to think something out or want to talk something out. You're something that has to feel it out. Well, let me see how I feel about it first. Like an empath will say that, or an empath will even say, "I just have a feeling." Like it may not make sense to you, but I just have a feeling, and I'm acting out of my feeling that I have, and I'm gonna go with my feeling. Always trust your feelings, empaths. Now, the thing is that your feelings are not always real or accurate, so you have to be able to discern between, is what you're feeling accurate, is what you're feeling the truth. Of course, what you're feeling is always your truth, but your truth may be different from someone else's truth as well. So it's definitely important to keep that in mind. But I think once you become conscious of your tendency to react emotionally, um, an empath is able to better control their emotional reactions, because as an empath, you're always naturally going to react in an emotional way, even if you don't show it right away or show it at all. But it's about controlling those emotional reactions. The third one is if you cry easily. Do you cry easily? Do you cry at, the most simple things? Crying is actually a sign that you're an empath. Crying is a sign that you feel things very deeply, that you felt something so deeply that it made you feel a very powerful emotion to the point of crying. Crying is a form of releasing. Crying is literally your body getting rid of negative energy in the form of tears. That's why tears are often salty and stuff like that, right? Um, it's kind of similar to mucus. Mucus is also another bodily fluid, I guess, or bodily created thing that traps negative energy and is often released through blowing your nose, is often released through, other ways. Um, but when you cry easily, I'm an emotional gangster. When you cry easily, this means that you are in tune with your emotions. You're in tune with other people's emotions. Empaths are usually people who cry at movies. Empaths are usually people who cry when watching a telly, or who cry when someone's telling a story and everyone's like, "Why are you crying?" It's like, I feel what's happening. I feel what's being said right now. Remember, an empath is someone who feels, right? Number four is you enjoy being near water. Now, this is quite interesting because not all empaths are attracted to water, but water can be a conduit for energy. Water can be a conduit for change. Water can be a conduit for energy. Water can be a conduit for change and emotions, right? So sometimes, like for me, I'm an empath and I'm not always emotional, but I love taking like long hot showers, because it's in the long hot showers that maybe, yeah, I do get to cry, or maybe it's just the steam or just the being in water itself that allows me to feel and see and, feel things out and tap into my intuition, which we're going to talk about intuition. We're going to talk about intuition here in a second. But if you enjoy being near water, you may be an empath, because the water may be a conduit for your emotions. The water may be a space where you feel comfortable to just feel, to just be, to just tap in, you know. Um, so if you are an empath, but you're not the most emotional person, these types tend to like to spend time around water. You may find I think it I think the connection keeps going in and out. You may find water signs, for example, who are natural empaths, also like being around water too. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Number five is if you're intuitive. Now, we're all intuitive. We all have intuitive capabilities, but empaths are probably one of the most intuitive because when it comes to intuition, intuition is closely connected to your feelings and your emotions. All right. So, for example, like an intuitive hit or an intuitive message may come in the form of a feeling. Like I have a feeling, like often clients will come to me and say, I have a feeling that, my, husband or girlfriend is cheating. I have a feeling that this situation is coming up. What do you think? What is my intuition saying? Once again, keep in mind sometimes your feelings are not always correct or true, all right? What is true is always what is true is always what is true is always going to be your intuition though. Your intuition will never steer you wrong. However, when it comes to being an empath, it's about once again mastering intuition between your emotions. And that comes with time, that comes within stepping into your empathic abilities and really owning it, owning that you're sensitive, owning that you're an empath. I love seeing people do that. I have noticed if I have a bath and put my whole face underwater, it helps with clarity. I also use my crystals inside the bath to help that. I do the same thing. I love taking spiritual baths. See? Number six is if you can feel or sense other people's or even Number six is you can feel or sense other people or even animals' emotions, okay? So we talked about this a little bit earlier, but once again, this is kind of one of those things that ties into intuition where you can walk in a room and maybe you have a pet or, maybe you have someone who's very silent, but maybe you have someone who's very silent, but you're an empath. So once again, maybe you have someone that's very silent, but you're an empath once again. So it's like maybe you're very silent, but once again, you're an empath, so no one needs to say anything. You just feel, all right. So, for example, when your pet is sad, you probably are able to tell your pet sad. Just like when you're sad, your pet can tell when you're sad because pets are empaths too. Empaths understand one another. So when you're an empath, you're automatically tuned into animals, period. Not just pets, but all animals. What is the common human language? It's feelings, it's emotions. What is the common language among, all human beings, mammals, and walking things on earth is emotion, all right? Empathic abilities, all right? Everyone is an empath to some degree. Number seven, you connect to animals. We talked about that. If you connect to animals on a deeper level, and often people will make fun of the cat lady or the dog dad and stuff like that. But really, what it says about them is that they're empathic. They are people that are they live their life through their emotion. I love actually seeing men and women who are very devoted to their animals because it shows that they have feelings. It shows that they are connected to animals, which means they're most likely empathic. You know the saying, animals know. Like when a dog or a cat is acting really weird around someone, that's because that dog or cat has a feeling about that person, and it's probably not good, right? The last one is if you feel connected to the moon. Number eight, the number eight sign of you being an empath is if you feel connected to the moon. The reason for this is because the moon, number one, rules water. All right. Number two, the moon in astrology rules your emotions. The moon in astrology is the ruler of Cancer. Right. So this is your emotions, your emotional reactions, your emotional instincts, what you need to feel emotionally secure. It's also your relationship to your home and family. So naturally, if you feel a connection to the moon, or even if you feel a connection to nighttime, a lot of people work best at night kind of thing. You may be an empath. A lot, like I said, a lot of people, when you're an empath, you are very, very much in tune to energy around you. So often during the day, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of hustle and bustle, but at night, it's very quiet. It's very peaceful. It's just you and the moon. So at night may be a good time for a lot of empathic people to get a lot of work done, actually. All right. The Powerful Underdog Tarot says, I can talk to animals through my mind, and people think I'm crazy, but sometimes animals tell you things about someone. Exactly. So these are the eight signs that you may be an empath. Thank you for sticking with me through these technical difficulties that I seem to constantly have for some reason. I'm definitely gonna have to figure out, I think, another setup in terms of live streaming because I don't think this is working for me anymore. But anyways, I appreciate you all for listening and watching. If you would like a reading, check out my website, LamarrTownsendTarot.com. Follow me on my Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Love and light.